take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. Yeah, I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, run it. Ooh, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my pen ready. Used to hold myself back, my self-esteem been petty. Gotta keep on chugging, ran through everything in front of me. Might smoke bed in heaven, got a whole agenda. Can't aspire to get ahead, so bump that, it's no surrender. Got a dollar flipped up, I'm trying to get an NFT to get them when they're hand and crypto. Learn how to fix that. I don't really hold out of books, but I'ma learn how to fix that. Some opportunities are never come unless you paying attention, so no, I can't miss that. Moving, MVP, I got the record, I might have to prove something. Big jumper worthy, they gon' have to retire my jersey early. Whole crew coming, had to work something, cause I had nothing in my pocket. Yeah, I did all that. Big plans, partners trying to make profits. Yeah, I did all that. Work, sweat, and tears breaking, even no wins. Yeah, I did all that. Had to make it happen. Putting hours in my practice, I did all that. Yeah, I can't take no loss. Yeah, I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, I can't take no loss. Yeah, I don't even know what it costs. Yeah, I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, run it. Ooh, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my big dog, walking big talk, young veteran, living legend, bet I'm better than them. This is my ship, I'm a jacket like Letterman. Y'all better not let them in, they gon' rotate this, so I keep the pedaling. Started a chain, the cycle is heaven sent. This is from God, but I'm not your reverend, not in the pulpit. I'm a pit bull in this element, yeah. Said you gon' pull up, then settle it, yeah. I've been married to this hustle, this is my ring, watch out step in it, yeah. And I ain't even got a yard, but I'ma get it here. Watch out touchdown, pulling plans out the clutch. Everybody getting crushed, the cut down is for us now. Have to work something, cause I had nothing in my pocket, yeah, I did all that. Big plans, partners trying to make profits, yeah, I did all that. Work, sweat, and tears breaking, even no wins, yeah, I did all that. Had to make it happen, putting hours in my practice, I did all that. Yeah, I can't take no loss, yeah, I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground, then it go off, yeah, hit the ground, then it go off, yeah, I can't take no loss, yeah, I don't even know what it costs. Yeah, I hit the ground, then it go off, yeah, hit the ground, then it go off, yeah, run it. Ooh, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my. Yeah. Run it. I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. Yeah, I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, run it. Ooh, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my pen ready. Used to hold myself back, my self-esteem been petty. Gotta keep on chugging, ran through everything in front of me. Might smoke bed in heaven, got a whole agenda. Can't aspire to get ahead, so bump that, it's no surrender. Got a dollar flipped up, I'm trying to get an NFT to get them when they're hand and crypto. Learn how to fix that. I don't really hold out of books, but I'ma learn how to fix that. Some opportunities are never come unless you paying attention, so no, I can't miss that. Moving, MVP, I got the record, I might have to prove something. Big jumper worthy, they gon' have to retire my jersey early. Whole crew coming, had to work something, cause I had nothing in my pocket, yeah, I did all that. Big plans, partners trying to make profits, yeah, I did all that. Work, sweat, and tears breaking, even no wins, yeah, I did all that. Had to make it happen, putting hours in my practice, I did all that. Yeah,
Don King was the first major African-American boxing promoter.
He revolutionized the pay scale for African-American fighters.
Truly, though, what's in it for Don King?
Any mob ties? No mob ties.
You were fighting for $100,000 a fight. Now you meet him, and you're getting $1 million or $2 million per fight. And he made 10. What do you give a shit what he made?
When I was a kid, it was all Don King. Crazy hair, but a good guy.
The promoters today are doing the same thing that Don King is doing. The only difference is that Don was more flamboyant with his.
You know, he talks a lot, he wears a lot of jewelry. You know, he does it his way.
The FBI agents raided my apartment.
Well, I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna make a name for myself by getting him.
Why don't you do yourself and do your father a favor? Give us Don King.
All we want is a lie. That's all we want.
He didn't want black people in power.
Now it's up to me as a promoter to make this a colorful and exciting extravaganza, to create an aura of excitement around this event.
If it hadn't been for Don King, boxing wouldn't be where it's at now.
King was just the better promoter because he out-hustled everybody.
They weren't getting paid like they're getting paid today.
Both Muhammad Ali and myself have been guaranteed $5 million.
He gonna put that piece of paper in front of you. Ain't nobody telling you to sign it.
To me, boxing is organized crime. If you're not with the right promoter, you're not gonna get the right fight.
The one, the only, Mr. Don King.
Welcome back to the Angry Man Podcast with Jason and Greg. He is Jason, the chosen one. I am Greg, a legend in my own mind. Jay, what's going on with you, fam?
Slow motion, my man. Slow motion. What about you?
About the same. Thank you guys for joining us today. First of all, I want to give a shout out to the people that support the channel, Rock Dog Interactive. If you need anything relative to web design, graphic design, Rock Dog Interactive, they're the people that you want to reach out to. www.rockdoginteractive.io. Also, Black Father Figures. That's the League of Legacy, doing wonderful things in the community for Black fathers, making sure that we get our recognition. So shout out to the League of Legacy. Nadaj Vodka, www.nadajvodka.com. One of the best tasting brandies you will find, triple distilled and out of the Jacksonville location. African-American owned, guys. Go check them out, www.nadajvodka.com. Great tasting vodka. And then finally, someone who is new to supporting the channel, Born to Box. It's a docu-series from the good brother Curtis Schoon. It is a gritty tale about just the experiences of boxers, trainers, boxing insiders. You guys just got a sneak peek to some of the work that the good brother Curtis Schoon, I'm calling him the good brother Curtis Schoon because he's definitely a good brother, but some of the work he's doing, man, is just absolutely outstanding. That was some of the work that you guys got to see there. He's doing a docu-series, including some work there on Don King and some of the things that occurred during that time. Don gets a bad rap, but there's some other parts of Don King that you guys should be made aware of as well. And he's working on that. And a lot of that content is going to start dropping in January of 2024. So make sure you guys go check it out. www.borntoboxfilm.com. All right, guys. Now we are in the building. Jay, let's go ahead and kick it off. Where do you want to start?
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and start it off with Boots, man.
Hold on. Mike Jones, fuck you.
What Mike Jones say?
Let's go.
What happened?
Let's go.
Oh.
You missed that. Let's go. Let's go.
Boots. So YSL had a video about Boots with Boots on there, and Boots looked massive. And at the end, Boots said 160, something to that degree, something to that effect. Now he did look big when he was doing it on the push-ups. He was doing everything, but Boots is naturally a big-looking guy. He's young enough to cut the weight and whatnot.
Hey, you must
get him. Get him.
Hey, Jason Williams. Hey, oh my goodness! As soon as I saw that, I couldn't do nothing but bust out laughing, man. No, Mike Jones, man. You know I'm just messing with you, dog. First and foremost, let me say this. Let me address this because I know there's going to be a lot of trolls in the comment section. So a lot of people don't know this because there's a narrative that's created out there, and it's because there's intellectually dishonest people who have a narrative that they want to paint because it benefits them. Florida State going into that game was missing 34%, roughly 36% of their team that they ended 2023 with. That included 13 of their starters and their second string guys. So the team that Georgia played yesterday was not the 2023 Florida State team. And that does not even include Jordan Travis. So we knew that was going to happen as soon as we got the snub. And the fact that we were going to end up playing Georgia. Georgia's roster is constructed in a different way. The roster is constructed where they have talent at each level. By level, I mean senior, junior, sophomore, and freshman. Florida State has had that productivity at seniors and NFL type guys, and then because of certain things that happened over the last couple of years, Willie Taggart, we have a gap in between there, and then our next best talent is at freshmen, basically freshmen. That's what we were putting out there, a lot of true freshmen. We probably had half of that team out there was probably true freshmen playing. So that is what happened. So just letting you guys know that. All right, Jay, let's go ahead and jump back into it, man.
Yeah, 60 points. Yeah. So what's your thoughts on Boots, man? He's saying he's gonna be at 160, and where the rest of the team?
Dog, Jason, I know you trying to. I know you need to feel good, but that's a legitimate question. The team, the people were either hurt or they were going to get ready for the NFL. So that's what it is. All right. So Boots Ennis. So let's talk about it. So I just think, man, that Boots is just really just talking, man, and being funny if you really think about it, because I mean, there's absolutely no reason for him to move up from 147. Shout out to Tunnel Vision, but he came into the comments section and he mentioned that Boots really rehydrates up to about 157 or so. And so there's really no reason for him to move up. He got plenty of time to move up. I think he's how old is Boots? 26, 27 years old?
I want to say 26.
Yeah. So Mike Jones, go jump in the river with cement block tied to your ankles. So of course, Boots, with where he is right now, he can easily make 147 pounds. There's so many opportunities for him to still unify and so many opportunities for him to do work at 147. I would be shocked and surprised if he was really willing to move up to 50, even 54, let alone 60, bro, even 54. There's no reason for him to do so. So my personal opinion is that he's probably going to stay at 47, and he was just throwing something out there, man, just to kind of, just kind of mess with the people that are watching it.
I think so too. I don't think Boots is going to go up to 160. I mean, to me, if he was going to go up, 154 would be the place to go. We did a video about this earlier, and I think 154 would be the place to go if he wants to really try to, if you can, put some pressure on Spence and Bud at 154. Because if he goes to 154 and gets the belt before they get a belt, and they're going to be there, if they really want to be undisputed at 154, they're going to have to go through him for at least one of the belts if he can secure one of the belts there. I don't think Bud is worried about that. Bud's just chasing the biggest check he can get and the fastest way he can be undisputed. That wouldn't be a point of fighting Boots at that point. It'd be a hell of a fight, but Bud is 36 years old. He's already been undisputed twice. He's already said he's chasing basically checks right now. I'm not mad at him for that. At 154, we'll see. 160, it's just nothing at 160, honestly, that interests me to see Boots fight. I'd rather see him fight the likes of the Tim Zoos. Even I know Fedora just lost to Brian Mendoza earlier this year. I even rather see him fight someone like that versus going to 160. I'm not really too fond of the fighters at 160, Maul included, because Maul hasn't fought. He's fought one time in 2.5 years. So, nah, I'm good with that. Boots can stay at 147, 154.
No, 147. There's no reason to move up to 54 at this point. He'll have an opportunity to move up to 54 at some point in time. And when you think about just like the two guys that have been there for a while, I'm pretty sure those two individuals are going to end up fighting at 54 in their rematch. So if anything, and one of those guys is going to stay at 54 regardless, as far as I'm concerned, and that's Errol Spence. So if anybody, if there's any division that he's going to go to that really makes any type of real legitimate sense, it would be moving up to 54 and not 60. But I think right now there's no reason to chase Terence Crawford and Errol Spence. To me, they're I wouldn't call it the twilight of their career, but they're definitely at the end, toward the end of their career. So there's no reason to chase those guys anymore. Just continue to focus on what your legacy is going to be and who ends up becoming that opponent for you that's really going to challenge you and help you to cement your legacy. So, and guys, forgive me, I'm still slightly up under the weather, so my voice is a little scraggly a little bit, so I'm struggling a little bit, but all good. Anything else you want to cover on this?
Damn well. Now, better talk about. So you don't want Boots versus David, but Bud. Band up. David's at 168. That's at 168, my man. You know that. Don't try that band up.
Well, technically, we don't want Terence Crawford versus David either. We don't want Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez either, because I think moving up so many weight classes.
There's an option for Bud to get a faster look at Canelo, because he would then be as mandatory.
Yeah, if he wants to expedite his opportunity to get to Canelo Alvarez, then he can do that through David Benavidez, is what we were saying. But we don't want to see any of those guys jump that many weight classes and get in the ring with guys that big, man. That's including Terence Crawford. For all the people that think we hate Bud, we don't. I don't want to see Bud go in there and lose to anybody, honestly, outside of Errol Spence. So as much as you guys think we hate Bud, it ain't true. All right, man.
Speaking of Bud, we may as well talk about him, right now, because he was in the news. Fighter of the year. Bud said that he feels like he should be fighter of the year based on his win against Spence. He gave Spence all the credit in the world. In that video, he was talking about not video, but his Twitter. He was talking about how Spence, was a top 5 fighter pound for pound when he beat Spence and whatnot. He only had fought one time, because we knew that he was supposed to have a rematch with Spence that we thought was going to happen earlier this month, actually in December, but it didn't happen. It's pushed back to maybe like February or March, depending on when he finished those negotiations and whatnot. But I'm not mad at Bud for saying that. He's the only one that fought someone of that caliber. And quite honestly, regardless of the favorites, because Bud was a favorite, and Newell were favorites in both his fights. Devin was favored in his fight. So, they were all favorites, but they didn't fight someone on the level of a Spence, though, that we all saw him as. Now, to some of y'all Bud fans that discredited Spence, saying he was a bum, he was this and that, you're killing the argument for Bud saying that he should be fighter of the year. My opinion, what we did a video on, I feel Bud is the fighter of the year based on that fight. I also felt that whoever won that fight was going to be pound for pound king this year. Bud won that fight in dominant fashion. He deserved it. He handled his business. He should be fighter of the year, not a Newey, not Devin, not David Benavidez or anyone else. Bud deserves that, in my opinion, even with only fighting one time, because the person he fought was that one fight was a big fight.
So you're saying you got Bud as 2023 fighter of the year?
Yeah, even with one fight.
Okay, I don't. And everything you said was true in regards to the level of competition. I think because Bud was able to be so dominant.
Hey, hold up real quick, Greg. Hey, Jason, easy with the words now. I'm giving Bud the fighter of the year. You easy with the words, man. Bud decimated the biggest big fish out here. Easy, Jason. Easy, Jason. Easy. Ease up on Spence now.
Yeah.
My bad, Greg. Go ahead.
No worries. So, so in regards to Terence Crawford, like everything that you said relative to Terence Crawford was true. He was dominant in that fight. And there are a number of different things that are out there in regards to Errol Spence and what contributed to his performance. But regardless, there's things that I saw in that fight, and we've said on multiple occasions, that had nothing to do with, whether he had a bruised rib or he was dehydrated. I mean, it was just errors that he was making against somebody who was a southpaw that Terence Crawford was able to take advantage of. And so you got to give Crawford a lot of credit for the way that he was able to perform in that fight. When I look at the other candidates, you got Devin Haney, that I think had a tremendous 2023. Personally, I think Regis Prograis was tailor-made for him, But regardless, he dominated somebody who had a big name and a guy that was really considered a boogeyman at 140 pounds. And I have to take into consideration some of the things that I said about Devin Haney, considering I said that he was stuck between a rock and a hard place. If he moved up, he couldn't beat anybody at 140. At 35, he was waiting to fight Shakur Stevenson. So he proved what I said to be 100% false. So I got to give him respect and love for that. And then he beat Lomachenko. Regardless if you think Lomachenko won the fight or not, the fact remains is that he actually won that particular fight. And personally, I think he won the fight as well. So Devin had a tremendous year. Then you look at Inoue. He had a tremendous year, becoming undisputed, and then beating Stephen Fulton in the process, which I don't understand. I keep seeing people talking about he became undisputed twice in 1 year. That doesn't even make sense to me because he fought Stephen Fulton at a
He fought somebody in December of last year, became undisputed at a lower weight class. Then he fought.
Don't care. Did he do it in 2023?
Nah, they're saying it within 300.
I don't care. Anyway, but he did have two tremendous performances this year. Became undisputed, and then you got David Benavidez, who fought Caleb Plant and Bubo Andre. Now, those two names aren't as high profile as the other names, but I would venture to say that Andre, a lot of people were picking, and he was a very avoided individual at 160 and 168 as well. David could have just played it safe and positioned himself for a Canelo Alvarez fight by fighting lesser competition. But instead, he took on the best guys that were in his weight class, and that says a lot. Personally, what I like is David Benavidez and the fact that he was willing to not play it safe. Those guys were not tailor-made for him. As a matter of fact, those are the styles that people would predict would actually beat David Benavidez, and he got into the ring with both of them, beat Caleb Plant, came back in the second half of the fight, and he absolutely obliterated Bubu Andre, and Bubu Andre was picked to win the fight by like the likes of Tim Bradley and so forth and so on, and myself as well. So I picked David Benavidez, but as I mentioned in the video that we did this week, Jay, I'm perfectly fine with anybody making an argument for any of those four fighters. I would not argue against any of those four fighters. The only thing I would argue is when you try to totally dismiss one of those four. That I have a problem with. When you try to totally dismiss any of those four, if you say, I think what Terence Crawford did was amazing, but he only fought once, and that's the reason why I'm going with so-and-so. I get it. Because that's part of the reason why I'm not picking Terence Crawford. But if you start trying to point to, Lomachenko was old, Regis Prograis was tailor-made, and so you dismiss him, and then, Bubu Andre and Plant were nothing. Then I'm going to start talking about Errol Spence and the fact that he had a rib injury, and he had height sickness, whatever you call it. I can't remember what the name of it was. What is it now? Ascension sickness, whatever it was. And he didn't look like the same Errol Spence. And because I mentioned that, like you could point to a number of different things to say these fighters why they shouldn't, but man, they had tremendous performances. So tell me why your man deserves it, but don't try to belittle the other fighters. I get tired of seeing that. And then I could also point to the fact that for those who are in the comment section that have such a strong opinion in regards to Terence Crawford, those are the same individuals that said Errol was he's trash, he's basic, and so forth and so on. And they'll make the argument, basic isn't the same thing. He was a great fighter, but that's not what saying basic is. We know what people are trying to say when they say basic in boxing. It means he's not good. He doesn't do it. He's no special effects. We know what that means. You're not going to change the narrative of what you was using it for before. We know what you were trying to use and how you were trying to leverage those words, right? So that's why I said don't belittle the competition because of situations like what we're currently in. It belittles what Terence Crawford accomplished in 2023. So if anybody has Terence Crawford as their 2023 fighter of the year, I won't argue it. He's not my 2023 fighter of the year, but I certainly will not argue against that. Now, he seems to be the channel's 2023 fighter of the year, and I perfectly accept that. I have no issue with it, but he's just not mine. Yeah. So those are my thoughts on it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can understand what other people are saying that, well, he only fought once. He didn't fight the best version of Spence, and I get that. You know, stylistically, from that fight, even to not being the best version of Spence, fighting the rematch at 154 is still hard for me to say that Spence will win that fight, you know, even at 100% right now, based on what we've seen. You know, Spence has a lot of things to correct, you know, and I do believe a better Spence, and we'll get into that shortly, as far as what Conte said and some of the things that we've talked about before in this channel regarding Spence's health. I think it would have been a better fight. But after seeing this over and over again, I just can't see Bud losing that fight right now, you know. And I'm just going by the quality of the fighter, how much high regard I have for Spence versus Stephen Fulton, who I didn't have as high regarded as highly as I had Spence. Who else was on there? Regis and Loma. Great wins. They all fought. They fought their ass off this year. Don't get me wrong. Between Inui, Devin, and even David, you know, I just feel that the quality of opposition was higher for Bud than it was for the others, even with Spence not being 100%. I still think that. But you know, people were going to say elsewhere otherwise. You know, I'm not going to be mad at it because it's like people I was trying to say Loma beat Devin. It was a robbery. It wasn't a robbery. It was a great fight. It was a close fight. Devin won the fight. You know, I wouldn't have been mad too much if they had said it was a draw. Wouldn't have bothered me like that. But 4 good fighters. I gotta see more of Inui. I gotta see more Inui against people that I actually know and I'll actually watch. And the lower weight classes is so much easier for them to move and conquer different titles. They can go from one weight class. They can go to the bathroom and be at a lower weight class. They can drink some water, be at a higher weight class, and get a title. You know, so it's a lot easier to move up and just go that. So I don't really get on being a multi-level, multi-division champ on those lower weight classes for that. If you're going 154, 147, 160, 168, I give you a lot more credence on that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it is what it is. I'm happy.
He can fight.
I would be happy with either one of those guys winning 2023 Fighter of the Year. I don't have a problem with any of those guys being 2023 Fighter of the Year. Like I said, I just have a problem with anybody that tries to discredit one of those fighters. Just wholeheartedly just dismiss one of those fighters as 2023 Fighter of the Year. That's not right. If somebody comes in and tells me, yep, it's Bud. I get that he only fought one time this year, but guess what? Man, the way that he actually performed in that fight and the level at which he reached in order to beat Errol Spence, that in and of itself is enough to give him Fighter of the Year. Legitimate argument. I still don't have him as Fighter of the Year, but legitimate argument. And that's the way that I view it. Now, one thing I will say is he is absolutely the number 1 pound for pound fighter in the sport. We saw, and I know this is a little bit off topic and we hadn't planned to cover this, but the good brother, Antonio Tarver, who is my Orlando brethren. So just because of that, I love him to death. But he was caught in the mix a little bit on Twitter, man, talking about Terence Crawford and totally dismissing Inoue, when in fact he picked Inoue to be the number 1 pound for pound fighter a few years ago. And not much has changed between that time. So Crawford, but I think he got it right. But man, that's the thing that's unique about this, and probably something that Antonio Tarver, who is a student of the game and knows way more about boxing than Jason and I do. But one thing I would say that we probably got some really good experience in, Jay, is being content creators. And how excuse me, I'm sorry. and how challenging it is in terms of like the takes that you give and the context in which you give your takes, and how people can take those takes out of context and use them to create narratives against what you're saying, and how you got to constantly remind people of, arguments are not binary. there are nuances to your arguments, and what I'm arguing in one specific situation where there's nuances to what we're talking about could be completely different. But yet what people will do is they will take everything that they hear and merge it together to come up with their own conclusion and or create their own narrative based off of a sliver or something that you've heard or that they've heard. So I don't know the full breadth of what Antonio Tarver has said in regards to pound for pound, but he definitely got caught in the mix on that one, Jay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Tarver was a lot of places, especially some of the stuff he said in the past, and now he's been all over, man. So it's hard. It's tough for me to go with Tarver on some of his takes, Plus, fuck it, I'm still mad he beat my boy Roy, knocked his ass out the second fight. I'm still mad about that. So I can't be objective about Tarver. I can't.
I've reached out to Tarver. We were supposed to get him on the channel for whatever reasons. I guess, schedules didn't align, but I've been trying to get him on because I want to get these Tarver takes on the platform and give you guys the opportunity to hear them and get your thoughts on them as well. But we've been unsuccessful so far in getting them on. But Antonio Tarver is somebody that, like I said, from my hometown. First time I met him was back in the day when I was like a little teen, and he was getting ready for the Olympics, and he a real dude, man. He a real dude. Real quick story, man, before we move on to the next subject. One of the things that I like about Antonio Tarver, and it's not necessarily something he did, but there is a park in Orlando called Lake Lana Dune. And at that park, a lot of people used to go up there, man, with their cars sometime on Sundays and play basketball and stuff like that. When I was a Jittybug, I went up there to play. Now, I was a Jit that could actually play. Jittybug, for those who are not from Florida, that's a Florida term. It's Jittybug or Jit. Yeah. So Jason Williams, I know you know about Jittybug. So anyway, so I went up there to go hoop, and I was one of those dudes that I could play above my age range, right? Because I just had skills like that. So I could play with dudes that were in their 20s, whatever. I could play above my age range, and I always did, quite honestly. And I was playing with some older dudes, man. And I went to the hole, and dude hit me hard as hell, man. I called foul. And he was like, "Oh, punk ass ninja, I did not foul you," and wanted to fight me. Now, remember, I'm a teen, dog. I ain't got the power to deal with somebody that look like they 25, 26, 27. Antonio Tarver came up there probably about an hour later, man. We're no longer playing like 4-on-4, whatever it was we were playing. We're not playing 20. No, we actually might have still been playing 3. I can't remember. It was either 21 or 3-on-3. Antonio Tarver went to the hole, same dude. Cat foul Antonio Tarver. Tarver looked at him with an eye, because he fouled him, called foul. Man, Antonio, man, you so crazy, bruh. Man, you got that, bruh. I was like, oh, man, this ninja's a bitch. So you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sitting there like, why you ain't trying Antonio Tarver like that, bruh? So anyway, that's one of my Antonio Tarver stories. He probably don't even remember that, dog, but I do. So salute to Antonio Tarver.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I just listen to some of his takes. Some of his takes be good. Then some. I mean, people have like kind of ethered him for some of the stuff he said earlier about Inui, and I want to say it was Inui and someone else. So he kind of changed his mind. I mean, maybe change his mind because he saw more. You know, when you get more data, you should change your mind and evolve on that note too as well. So just depends on that. You know, but like I said earlier, the Roy Jones, that second fight and the third fight, I'm sour about that still to this day. But nah, he could fight. He's a smart fighter out there. I know he's trying to get into. I know he has a son that fights on the lower circuit level. I think he's undefeated and whatnot. And he's actually, I've been trying to see when they're going to be in Plant City because they do fights in Plant City for Pro Box. So I'm gonna try to slide through there one time if they come on the time when I'm able to, if I'm not working on that. But back to kind of Bud in a sense, and Bud and EJ. So Conte was on with our boy manager Marty, and he spoke of something that EJ made a mistake on. His team made a mistake on. It was that, and that's him getting to the running the week of the fight, not allowing himself to get acclimated and running for like 3 miles in that heat. And he thinks that significantly impacted him by, I can't think of the term, you can have the term on set, impacted his performance. It could create him being sluggish, which how he looked at that fight as well. So it's interesting. I mean, it's kind of, I know I think it was that comment on our last slide we did a couple weeks ago. I was talking about, Balco and how things have changed and stuff like that. So I haven't looked at it since way back then. But they're like how, Conte has changed his stance. And Conte even talked about it with manager Marty, how he changed his stance on everything and he's there to be an advocate. It's still, you're going to look at him with a that suspicious eye. You know what I'm saying? Because he cheated. Being as smart as he is, he knows how to beat it. So it was an interesting take on that. But what's your thoughts on the potential that being a mishap in EJ's training that could have also impacted his having a lackluster performance against Bud?
Before I get into that, man, we got 44 people in the building, 19 likes. If you get the opportunity, please hit the like button. And if you are new to the channel, this is AM Sports Media Angry Man Podcast. We're always dropping boxing-related content as well as other sports-related content, but mostly boxing-related content right now. You name it, we do it. Come check us out. Hit the subscribe button. Become a part of the family. As in regards to Victor Conte is more the scientist than I am, right? I'm a numbers guy. I'm a math guy. And I do believe in the science, but I'm a numbers guy. So I don't know as much as he does in regards to that. Altitude sickness is what it's called. Is it possible? Sure. Benaiah Wright, who I believe might be in the chat, I'm not sure, but he says that he's from the Denver area and that usually what ends up happening, as long as you go back down to a lower altitude, you don't experience the sickness. I don't know how true that is. I have no idea. All I can do is just kind of rely on what I saw to be the issue. I don't know how long it lasts or anything like that. Shout out to Brandon House. Salute, bruh. But at the end of the day, there was something that probably was not right with Errol in that fight. And one thing I do want to focus on before I even go there, Jay, this is the thing that I find to be so strange in terms of just doing some of these videos. And it kind of ties into what I was talking about earlier in regards to like just the overall narratives that's created based off some of the things that you say and not necessarily really understanding the context of what it is that you're discussing and binary arguments versus more complex arguments. But that video that we did this past week, that video was really talking about whether or not the fact that when you think about Errol Spence's team, they should know that there's a possibility that he could have some level of sickness in regards to just, running 5 miles up to an altitude of 8,000. And when you think about, just the overall impact and how that could affect a fighter, your team, you need to have a team of people that also, and I'm not necessarily saying that, that's a failure of like a Derek James or any of his trainers, but, maybe it's a failure in terms of not having that level of science in your team. I don't know what his complete team is, but we don't see people like, the Victor Contes of the world in terms of those scientists that are really just using the science of, sports medicine in order to improve your performance. I have not seen those people, surface level to be able to identify them and say, oh yeah, that's who Errol is working with. It's important to have that. And that could be a possible gap because, to Victor Conte's point, I know a lot of people don't want to, really give Victor Conte any credit for what it is he's saying, but he is a scientist and they're doing things like they're testing blood to look at, certain attributes of your blood to determine whether or not you're about to get sick or, you've overtrained based off of oxygen levels or you've undertrained based off of oxygen levels in your blood and stuff like that. Those things are important to help you become a better fighter and so or athlete in general. And so if I'm if I'm Errol Spence, you should have that in your camp. And we did the video basically talking about that. And yet Everybody in the comment section is talking about, oh, y'all just making excuses. This is more Bud hate. The topic of the video is, did the Spence team fail? Because regardless of whether or not this actually occurred or not, which I said in the video, regardless if it occurred or not, this is a situation where someone in the camp should have known that this could be a challenge and or an issue, specifically a week out from the fight. So whether you get sick and it's only for a day or not, those are things that can affect you going into a fight. So that was the point of the video, yet everybody focused on, oh, you're trying to make an excuse for Errol Spence. Like, I don't get it, dog. I just wanted to point that out. That there to me is crazy. So
not only that, Greg, you nor I ever said that was the reason Spence lost.
No. We
never said that. We even said, even at 154, Spence had some things that technically the update and correct.
Yeah.
For him to have a chance at beating Bud.
Yeah.
So could him being in better conditioning, whether it's a rib injury or the altitude sickness or anything like that, for the first fight to be better? Yeah. That could have impacted and made the fight a lot more competitive. Again, we're not saying that was the reason he lost. It could have made it a lot more competitive, though. That's all we're saying. That could be a factor. Point blank, period. Probably won't change the outcome, but as far as competitiveness, that could be a factor because he looked sluggish as hell. Everyone was saying that.
And
everybody.
Again, for proper context, after the end of the fight prior to the Spence Crawford fight, I had to leave and go upstairs to go get my kids ready for bed. I did not see the interview before the fight. I did not see the ring walk. I actually walked back in with 40 seconds left in the first round. That's when I walked back in. When I walked in and stopped, because I walked back in and I stopped and looked at Spence and I said, his balance looked real off. And Spence arguably won the first round. A lot of people had him winning the first round. So something didn't look quite right with him to me. But Bud beat him because he out-jabbed him. Spence had no answer for what Bud was doing in terms of parrying the jab. And Spence kept ducking to his right, and Bud just kept throwing hooks and catching him with it. So, again, I just think Crawford won the fight. But I do think it's a more competitive fight, probably at 54 with a higher weight, and he needs to clean up some errors in his game. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, and that's it. I don't know why maybe it's some other podcast or someone else they've seen that said that's the only reason Spence lost.
Hold up, real quick, Jay. Real quick. Impress Sports Channel, right? First it was the rib injury. Now this is literally exactly the point that I'm making, chat. I literally just walked through exactly what it was that we were expressing in that video. And the comment from Impress Sports Channel was this. That's what I'm talking about. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, I mean, it's two things. All those factors could be still true, and he could still lose that fight with Bud. So, I mean, we've already even said, like, 154 the rematch. After what we saw in the first fight, even a healthy 100% Spence with no issues, it's hard to say Spence is going to beat Bud just from the first fight, because we see not only just the fact that Spence looked weak and lethargic, he had technical deficiencies that Bud capitalized on. And some of those, who knows, was it because he was off for so long, or his fact that Bud was just capitalizing on that. That's something that he's been having all his whole career. You know, so I mean, we never said that's the reason why he lost. We gave Bud all the credit and worth for what Bud did. And Spence didn't do too much to make Bud change his game plan. Bud really didn't have to do too much on that. He did simple stuff. Honestly, watching what Bud did, and Spence was just there. He looked slow as hell. Y'all gotta be real with it.
Yeah. No, Spence team didn't fall. I think he mean fail. Yeah, right. I mean, anything outside of Terence Crawford annihilated Errol Spence is an excuse. More than two things can be true. Impress Sports Channel. Again, arguments are not binary, my brother, but I guess for you they are. Gotta ignore the simplistic arguments made by simplistic minds. Ryan Prentice is spot on with that. All right, Jay. Is there anything else we want to cover before we open up?
Got one more. I mean, so this was recent, coming from Richard Hitchison from Mill City. He said that Tanks has told him over hundreds of times that he'll fight Devin at 140 with no rehydration clause. Now, the thing with this is we don't know when this conversation took place. These conversations took place, it was before or after the fight, because that could change as far as the mindset of a fighter saying that, okay, I'll fight you, no problem. You can't, I don't believe you can punch anyway. But now I see you rehydrate 25 pounds. That's kind of concerning because I don't want, you to have another advantage on me. You already taught me you got a longer reach advantage on me. I don't want you having the weight advantage to that degree over me. So, I mean, I found it interesting. If that is the case, I'm all for that. Now, I don't know from as far as Tank's team, I think quite sure they'll be like, nah, we can't let you just rehydrate to 165, be damn near super middleweight. And Tank might not rehydrate higher than 150, give you a 15 pound weight advantage on that just so you can lean on him. Although that's not Devin's game. So that was my only concern. Also, my concern with that. Also, my concern was the fact that the health factor of it is for Devin, not just him for his opponent, him having more weight, but the health factor for Devin to gain not much weight in 24 hours. That's concerning to me. No, I'm not a scientist or anything like that. I was a personal trainer. I knew a lot about nutrition and see how people can gain weight. That's a lot of water weight to be just blowing up the next day. I don't care how much muscle you have. So, I mean, it's concerning that aspect there. But if Tank saying that to Richard Hitchison and he goes through with that, hey, all y'all that were talking noise about Tank, y'all gotta retract those statements. I want to see it.
Yeah. I'm gonna address two things in the comment section. First, Impress Poor Spence looked the same in the Ugas fight. When I get a chance this week, I'm gonna do a side by side of Ugas because that's another simplistic argument that I can't remember who it was that made that argument. But if I'm gonna do a side by side of Spence jabbing versus Ugas and Spence jabbing versus Terence Crawford, and you'll see the speed of the jab is slower.
Completely different. Yeah.
Okay. And then Santos asked us, what's your upset of the year for 2023? I just want to answer that real quick.
Oh, I got one. You want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
I would say probably Brian Mendoza over Fundora, because that came out of nowhere for me.
Yeah, that was this year.
Low key, because he was losing that whole fight until then. That didn't see that coming from anywhere. So that'll be my upset probably.
Man, I feel like it's Teofimo Lopez, dog. I don't know if he was I don't remember if he was the favorite.
He wasn't the favorite. He wasn't the favorite.
I feel like he wasn't.
A good firefight, but
yeah, the way he beat Josh Taylor, I thought was just dominant, and so to me, that's the upset of the year. What you guys think in the comment section? Upset of the year. Oh damn, dog. What topic are we on right now? Oh, Devin Haney and
Devin Haney. Tank saying,
so I don't. Tank, will he fight Devin at 140 without a rehydration clause? I always thought that that Tank will fight him at 40, and I think he should fight him at 40. Man, I once we learned that he rehydrated up to 25 pounds heavier, man, that's a different conversation. And I talked to Rachel Donaire. This was like 2 or 3 weeks ago or something like that. And we were talking about it. She was talking, basically, today fighters are zesty, if you will, because, this now is all of a sudden the issue. But, and she started talking a lot about safety. And my thing was, because, allowing the fighter to rehydrate all the way up. My thing is, well, what about the fighter that's giving up the 25-pound advantage? You feel me? Like, what about their safety? So if you really want people to fight at true weight classes, why don't you go right back to same day weigh-ins? Now you're forcing guys you might want to fight at your natural weight class. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, the commissions can step in and say, okay, it's only you're fighting at a safe weight class if you rehydrate up X weight above your weight limit, right? So meaning everybody has a amount that they can rehydrate up to, right? So let's say they deem that rehydration should be no more than 12 pounds. If you rehydrate into more than 12 pounds, then that means that the opponent that you're facing, that's a danger to them. So then that forces cats that cannot really make the weight to fight at higher weight classes, and you get fighters fighting at their natural and correct weight classes. So, or you allow people to have rehydration stipulations. Either way it goes, dog. Like, you can't have a guy that can, you know, that's just young and has the ability to melt down that much water weight, hop into the ring with another fighter with that much more weight on them, dog. That's dangerous for the other fighter. So, you know, you know, will Tank do that? I don't know. I mean, when did he say that to Richardson Hitchens? I'm pretty sure he didn't say it hundreds of times. I don't even think he's talked to Richardson Hitchens hundreds of times. But maybe he said, you know, at some point that he will fight him at. But when did he say that? You know what I mean? We had Coach Kenny on. Coach Kenny told us that it has to be a weight stipulation in it. That's coming directly from his team. So what's going to happen if his team says, because he got people around him, and the people around him are going to say, why are you going to give Devin Haney this many advantages going into the fight for what? You know, so the people around him may say, no, we're not going to do that. You're not going to do that. And it is what it is. And they eliminate the option of doing so. So we'll see what ends up happening in regards to that. I think there is a possibility for them to fight in 2024. Tank may be more willing to make more concessions for them to fight, and we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm Tank, I want this fight to happen, but I think this fight can happen. And if it happens like this, I think it'll happen after Ryan and Dev fight. Dev wins that fight there. They have a common opponent. Another common opponent besides Gamboa, but they have a most recent common opponent with Ryan. And we'll see how Dev fights Ryan. He beats Ryan. That builds his profile even more to make this really a big fight, a huge fight later this year. Now, I've been on the record multiple times. People know I'm a Tank fan, and I've been on record saying that I don't want to see Tank fight a Pitbull Cruz Part 2. So this is not me. I'm not hiding anything from Tank. I'd rather see him fighting Devin right away. You know, but I want to see for me, I want to see what's fair on both sides. I know Devin's not necessarily a hard puncher like that, but I just think about the weight advantage that he will have and how he could use that if he wanted to. Although Devin didn't use any weight advantage, the weight advantage he had over Regis, he didn't use it. He didn't have to. He just outboxed him. And outboxing Tank is going to be a lot harder than outboxing Regis. So
I agree, definitely. So that was our last topic there, right? For what we had.
Yeah. Well, yeah, for the most part, we opened the phone lines. We did. So speaking of Devin and Ryan made an offer. Made it seem like he's offering Devin like he's the A side. You know, on that, we know Devin has the belt. He's the champion at 140. Ryan just got a win at 140, doing an ugly ass shoulder roll that he said DJ told him not to do ever again. Do you think Ryan think he's the A side in this fight here because of the following he has, or is Devin the A side? I say Devin should be the A side because he has the belt.
Well, we'll disagree on that. Devin ain't done no numbers. I actually believe that.
I'm not talking from a numbers. Yeah, from a number standpoint, no. Ryan blows him out the water. You know, but you're coming for his belt. You know, this ain't gonna be the reverse of a Devin and Regis. You know, Devin's gotten a higher profile now since that Regis win.
Who team reached out to who? Who team made it? Who team reached out to who? Who said Who said
he's gonna try to be the A side on that?
Who said I presented a deal that's fair?
He said he wants the deal to be fair. I don't think he said he presented. He said he wants the deal to be fair to Devin.
But I think he's the one that initiated the contact, and I'm pretty sure that for the deal to be fair, I mean, we could actually probably pull it up, but the way that he implied that, at least from what I gather, it felt more like he was saying that he's put forth a deal that's fair. That's how I took that.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, then he's the A side. He's certainly behaving like he's the A side.
Yeah, he is. He's definitely behaving like it. Now, do you think Devin's going to defer to that after what Devin's been doing?
Dog. Again, and this is the Terence Crawford, Errol Spence argument, dog. Your accomplishments do not dictate that you're the A side.
No, I agree 100%. I'm saying, do you think Devin and them are going to be like, nah, we got the belt. We just did a fight against Regis, took his belt, moved up.
I think that is worth you walking to the ring first and getting introduced first, maybe. But the marquee, Ryan.
Oh, he's definitely. Based on his following, now as far as
Garcia, Haney, Devin can be introduced in the ring last. Devin can walk to the ring last. That's the solve since he's the champion. But outside of that, no. And
I just don't know if they're gonna do that. I don't know if they're gonna do it.
Well, maybe Ryan will be willing to make a concession for that. Tank ain't gonna make that concession.
Hell no.
So we'll see. Again, shout out to Devin and Bill Haney. Devin for having the year that he had. Bill Haney for doing an excellent job keeping his son's name relevant since the fight. He's done an amazing job with that. So he deserves kudos for that, regardless of how he does it. A lot of people don't like what he's doing. Personally, I don't really care what he's doing. Doesn't bother me one bit, one way or the other. I just see it for what it is.
Jess says, I knew this live was coming after Crawford won the poll. Stay mad. Who mad?
Who said that?
Jess.
I don't see it.
Like who mad?
Yeah, for some reason. Oh, Jess, I knew this live was coming after Crawford won the poll. Yeah.
And we go live every Sunday. Anyway, like Brian said, we go live every Sunday.
And I would pretty much say that anybody that follows this channel, specifically those who are Terence Crawford fans, will tell you that there's no anger in regards to Terence Crawford being named, that the poll said Terence Crawford should be the fighter of the year. We mentioned that as a part of this live stream. We said that we understand that argument and respect it and would not argue against it. Jason actually has him as his fighter of the year. I do not have him as my fighter of the year. So your statement is ignorant, Jess. I'm not trying to be insulting to you, but it's just ignorant. I think you're a troll. Anyway, all right, man, the phone lines are open. But you know what, Jake? Jason, let's just take a quick break and we'll open up the phone lines in a second. Quick break, minute and 30 seconds.
Don King was the first major African-American boxing promoter.
He revolutionized the pay scale for African-American fighters.
Truly, though, what's in it for Don King?
Any mob ties? No mob ties.
You were fighting for $100,000 a fight. Now you meet him, and you're getting $1 million or $2 million per fight. And he made 10. What do you give a shit what he made?
When I was a kid, it was all Don King. Crazy hair, but a good guy.
The promoters today are doing the same thing that Don King is doing. The only difference is that Don was more flamboyant with his.
He talks a lot. He wears a lot of jewelry. He does it his way.
The FBI agents raided my apartment.
Well, I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna make a name for myself by getting him.
Why don't you do yourself and do your father a favor? Give us Don King.
All we want is a lie. That's all we want.
They didn't want black people in power.
Now it's up to me as a promoter to make this a colorful and exciting extravaganza, to create an aura of excitement around this event.
If it hadn't been for Don King, boxing wouldn't be where it's at now.
King was just the better promoter because he out-hustled everybody.
They weren't getting paid like they're getting paid today.
Both Muhammad Ali and myself have been guaranteed $5 million.
He gonna put that piece of paper in front of you. Ain't nobody telling you to sign it.
To me, boxing is organized crime. If you're not with the right promoter, you're not gonna get the right fight.
The one, the only, Mr. Don King.
All right, we are back. That was the Born to Box docuseries. You guys really should go and check that out. A really good documentary, www.borntoboxfilm.com. That's from the good brother Curtis Schoon. We will drop an interview where he dropped knowledge on some of his experiences overall and really talked about the sport. He supports the channel, and so we are supporting the work that he's doing. So you guys make sure you go check that out. www.borntoboxfilm.com. Curtis has done a number of different other work as well. You might be familiar with it. What is it, Jay?
American Gangster.
American Gangster. That's what it is. The episode is Supreme McGriff. So that's the episode that he was the executive producer and brought that to you guys. So American Gangsters, if you're familiar with that, he was a part of that as well, episode 7. So Curtis Schoons is doing work in these streets for the community. So make sure you go and support. All right, Jay, the phone lines are open. If you guys are ready to call in, let us know. If not, man, we'll just keep chopping it up here as well. Jay, what?
Be the same thing. Casanova said if EJ won, he would definitely be this channel's fighter of the year. It'll be the same situation, dude.
He wouldn't.
If the votes were exactly reversed, it'll be the same situation. Same exact situation.
Yeah, Errol wouldn't be fighter of the year for beating Terence Crawford, and he only fought once. That would not make him fighter of the year.
You know, I would take the same stance. If EJ had dominated Bud, I'd still do the same thing.
404-913-0873 is the number, and I'll pin it to the top as well.
Waiting on Band up to call in.
I ain't seen him.
He said he's gonna call in.
I ain't seen him in the chat in a couple minutes. Marsalis Mooney, you know about Curtis Schoon? Happy New Year's, chick. What's going on with your fam?
Yeah.
And like what All Things said, hit the like button, good people. If you're in the chat and you haven't hit the like button yet, go ahead and hit that like button for me. And if you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. We are the Angry Man Podcast. I know usually I have a little bit more energy than this, but I'm still a little bit under the weather, man, fighting the cold. So don't think that this is the normal live stream you would get. Usually I'm much more animated, but I ain't got the energy for it right now. Understanding said exactly. You got to have at least a couple of fights per year so folks can properly judge if you are fighter of the year. I totally agree with that. Now, some people will say
you got to look at quality and quantity as well.
Some people will say that
you gotta weigh that in.
The reason why Terence didn't fight twice is because they were supposed to fight in December, and Errol isn't. You know, it's Errol's fault that they didn't fight in December. No, it's not. See, you just created a narrative. It's Terence Crawford who said, or that basically was like, yo, you didn't notify me in time, or whatever it was he was saying. So I want to fight at 47, basically trying to leverage the weight class in order to get more money. That's what Bud did, dog. So don't sit up here and then they have to go into negotiation because Bud is trying to get more money. Bud mentioned himself that they're negotiating. So that ain't what. Like, Crawford is just as much the reason why the fight's not happening in 2023 as Errol is. So that's not a legitimate excuse, dog. Yeah, I am Jason Williams. I'm gonna do it right after this show. No, Jason can't run the show, dog. This is a show ran by the magnificent, the legend, in his own mind at least, G White. Ain't that right, Jay? You know it's right. Yeah,
sure,
that's
60.
right. No, sure, me. Yeah, I don't care nothing about what you talking about, dude. I ignore it. If you're a fan of a team that we big, you just ignore it. I don't even respond to that. I think because of the criticism of Tank, more at stake for Tank to make a move to 35 or 40. I don't know if I agree with that, Santos. And the only reason I say I don't know if I agree with that is because there are two fighters at 35 that he can fight at 35 that will give him just as much recognition as fighting a Devin Haney. So if he were to fight Shakur Stevenson I misstated that. There's one fighter. The other fighter will give him a good amount of recognition. But if he fights Shakur Stevenson, that's going to give him the appropriate recognition at 35. He doesn't have to move anyway. And then Frank Martin will give him a considerable amount of recognition as well. Not on the level of a Devin Haney, of course, but still recognition. So I don't think I agree with that. But if I'm Tank Santos, I go ahead and make the fight before Devin gets too big, because that's a name I can put under my belt, a notch in my belt for my career. I can get him before he gets too high, and then I can still get the Shakurs and the Frank Martins of the world. So to me, that's why there should be a sense of urgency for Tank to get a hold of Devin before Devin gets too big and he can't fight him. What do you think about that, Jay? Your camera out. So this is why, ladies and gentlemen, Jason can't run the show. You see his camera all effed up, man, and mic all screwed.
Here we go, man. Here you go in the mess. You said what was it now?
You couldn't hear what I was saying because your camera and your mic was all fucked up, man.
Language, sir. Language.
I said, what do you think about Gervonta needing to go ahead and get Devin now before he gets too big?
I mean, that would be a great idea. You know, I mean, you always want to get fighters before they really get that peak.
I should tell people what you put in this chat. I ain't gonna say it though.
You ain't shit.
I should do it, but I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna do it to you. 281, you in the building with the Angry Man podcast. What's going on with you, fam? You on here?
LSS.
You on here with Greg and Bubble Guts?
Why you say Bubble Guts? Who the hell is that? I just wanted to ask why you didn't think. I don't know if you've already answered it, but why you didn't think Bud was the fighter of the year? When Greg was valid about quality over quantity. My reasoning is that Bud beat the number one welterweight at that time because Spence had 3 belts and a top 5 pound for pound fighter easily at the time.
Yeah, so Jason actually feels that he is the fighter of the year. So I didn't. The reason why I didn't is because he only fought one time. And then I give a level of respect and credence to what David Benavidez was able to accomplish in 2023. He could have positioned himself to fight lesser competition and wait for the pressure and the demand for Canelo Alvarez to face him to just build and build and build until he got that opportunity. He didn't do that. He went and faced Plant and Boo Boo Andrade. Plant had lost, but he had only lost once, and the only loss that he had on his belt was under his belt or lost was Canelo, and then Andrade hadn't lost at all. Andrade was avoided by Canelo, and both of these fighters have styles that supposedly, based off what Tim Bradley says, would beat somebody like David Benavidez. He beat up Plant in the second half of the fight, and he crushed Andrade. So to me, that's the reason why I give him the fighter of the year. But I wouldn't argue against Bud, is my point. The only argument I'd make against anybody that's making an argument is if they're making their argument by trying to diminish the other fighter. That's the problem that I have.
No, I think Fannin mentioned that on his show. They're trying to kind of hate on Crawford for and disrespect, saying EJ wasn't this great fighter, and he actually was. I don't know if you remember from last year, I told you that Bud was going to win. But I agree with you. I think EJ was off as well. Something wasn't right with him.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. I mean, that's fair to be objective and say that. You know, just saying that something was wrong with EJ doesn't mean that you're saying that EJ that 100% is going to just smash Bud. That's not what anyone says. It's just saying that you can see something was wrong. You know, he also see
something was off because I predicted a 10th round TKO, but I didn't think it was going to be. I think it was the most shocking fight probably since Douglas and Tyson. The way Bud dominated him, I just didn't expect that at all.
Yeah, we didn't expect either fighter to dominate each other like that. We said it was a 50-50 fight, and we leaned towards Spence for the reasons we thought that Spence would put more pressure on Bud and do it that way. But we didn't think either fighter was just going to dominate the other and just completely be one-sided like that. We didn't think it was going to go one way like that for Bud nor Spence.
Me neither. And I think the way Spence could get victory is what I said last year is I think he needs to pace himself, because everyone's talking about his pressure and his output and all that, and that works to Bud's advantage because it lets him get his timing down. So, but I think EJ needs to pace his fight, not throw as many, and take more, use quality shots over quantity.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. You know, but I mean you can't reinvent the wheel though. You know, he is who he is.
Yeah, hopefully we get Boots after this.
So, man, I've talked to some people, man, and they tell me that the arrows that Spence were making, they can be adjusted in the training camp, in one training camp. I've been told that he can make adjustments to the errors that gave Terence Crawford the opportunity to be as dominant as he was in that fight. Those errors can be worked on and improved in one training camp. Now,
oh yeah, no doubt.
So if Spence can do that, you'll see a better fight. I think the weight class is going to help him, but I think more importantly, I think Spence needs to come into it with the right attitude, right? I still remember this, and people always say we have no level of criticism for Errol Spence. I would disagree. I just think Errol's a really stand-up guy, dog, in terms of his word, and he does what he says he's going to do, and that's why I respect him. But one thing that I heard him say to Ellie was that, if I can't get ready in 8 weeks, having a layoff doesn't matter, right? All that doesn't matter. If I can't get ready for a fight in eight weeks, then, whatever. I can't remember what he said after that, but it was something to that effect.
I think he's crazy for that.
Exactly. I agree.
When the negotiations were going on at first, I said Bud would be stupid to fight EJ. What was it? They were supposed to fight in November. It would have been like a 14-month layoff.
But he's gotten away with it. He's gotten away with it, though, dog. He's gotten away with it, though.
Yeah, I thought Spence was crazy to fight him with 15 months off.
Dude,
just because of the level of competition.
When you think about, so all the fights that ended up being like guys getting dominated, right? Errol off for I don't know how free. Errol fought what, April of 2020?
Yeah, it was 15 month layoff.
15 months?
16 months.
Yeah, 15 or 16.
So 16-month layoff. Deontay Wilder got dominated. How long of a layoff did he have? Was it 18 months, something like that?
Something like that. He got smoked.
And who else got lit up, man, on this year? Charlo had been off. Mel had been off. How long had Andre been off before he fought?
Charlo didn't have a shot against Canelo though.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's fair. But what about Andre?
Well, Andre just fought in January.
Okay, well that ain't just fault, but yeah. But inactivity, man, has contributed to some fighters. I mean, to me, they have that in common, man, where they've been inactive and they got into the fight with a good fighter, and they got smoked, dog. I mean,
yeah, and I'm a Bud fan, but I respect Spence for even taking a chance. I think it's insane to do that.
He had been getting away with it, and Bud was a different fighter, and I would say this, man, dog, it's not. I mean, I can't even use that for an excuse because, you know what I'm saying? Like, he had came back against other opponents and looked good against those opponents, so. But that's really a testament to Crawford because Crawford was on a different level. dog, you should have you needed a warm up fight, dog, against somebody that gave you a look that looks like Crawford. You know, even of course you're never gonna get, huh?
He's supposed to have a fight in between, but he got in that car accident. I think he was refighting.
Well, yeah, I mean, they had Thurman set up, and then Boots was his mandatory. I would have thought he'd take Boots on, put him in his place. I still think he beats Boots, even after him losing to Crawford.
Well, no, now.
I'll take Spence over Boots still.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll see, but I mean, he got a chance to make that fight more competitive. Going into that fight, I would not pick him because, you know, as much as people want to say that, you know, we do this and we hate this and that, but I'm a man of logic, dog. I'm logic and numbers. My job and my career depends on that, dog. And so, when I look at how he performed against Crawford, even if I said, you know what, it's the same Spence in terms of strength and energy level that we saw against Ugas, because regardless what people say, he didn't look the same. I'm sorry.
Just go ahead and die.
That's funny.
Damn, Lamar killed it.
Drink some water, bro. Drink some water, man.
Give me a second, dog. Go ahead.
I was watching the end of the Baltimore Ravens Dolphins game.
Yeah, I saw they lost 56-19. I saw like a ESPN alert. But I mean, as far as like Spence and fight anyone right now, honestly, I think Spence can come back and still be a good fighter. You know, I'm not going to take that one loss and he's just done forever on that. Now, as far as, you know, sometimes fighters have your number. You know, think about Shane Mosley, Vernon Forrester. Vernon had his
Forrest. No, his name wasn't Forrester. Forrest.
Forrest. You know, Vernon
Hater.
His number. So, you know, so we'll see how this rematch happens. You know, whether it's in February or March. But I mean, they can't keep. Hopefully, it happens sooner than later, because you know it's going to be another long layoff, and that's not going to bode well for Spence. You know,
that's why I'm saying that's why I keep saying Spence. And going back to the logic situation, man, logic is key. My logical mind would not allow me to pick Errol Spence based off what I saw against Terence Crawford. It simply will not. I cannot do it.
Versus Boots?
Versus Boots is, man, I don't know right now. I got to think on that one. I don't want to think about that right now. Let's stick with Terence Crawford. So
no, I got you.
So he's that's why, you know, we've been like, you have to be in the gym now, dog, to try to compensate for the lack of activity over the last few years. I would be in the gym now, dog. And I think Spence is in fine shape. I saw some pictures on his girl's Instagram or whatever, and he seems to be in perfectly good spirits, good shape and things like that. But he needs to be training. And to me, and I'm just gonna put this out there, and people that love Errol Spence, they're not gonna like what I'm about to say. And if Errol sees this, hey man, I still support you. You are my favorite fighter, but I gotta say this. The fact that Errol has gone completely ghost for like how many months now, Jay? 4?
Yeah,
4 or 5.
Almost 5 of them.
Like 5.
The fact that he's gone completely ghost is concerning for me. That speaks to me. Is there a mental
I'm hoping
fragility?
he's just putting that work in.
See, that's the thing though. If he's just putting in the work, that's my explanation, and I have no issue with it. This man has said, you know what, I'm off all this bullshit. I'm about to be 100% focused in training camp doing blah, 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 right? But we see pictures surface of him being in Martine and, you know, other locations and stuff like that. And it's like, now that doesn't mean he's not training a whole lot, but if he's not, then, and I'm just strictly speaking to if he's not, and it's not a situation where I'm just solely focused on training, I'm not even dealing with that because I want that ass in the rematch. That sounded bad. I'm sorry. Pause.
Well, I mentioned something about like you talking about like the science, and I was in one of the comments. I said the science isn't really that complicated because like Bud is a gym rat. He lives, eats, breathes, sleeps boxing. Yeah. He's always in the gym, doesn't drink, doesn't do drugs, and EJ's, he parties and all that. I don't know if he's like, there's a different level of dedication from Crawford, like almost like MJ obsessive.
Yeah, Crawford in that regard, I would say Crawford's like Floyd Mayweather as far as the way he handles his business outside the ring, as far as being a gym rat, staying on par. That's the one way I can say Crawford is like Floyd. We know Crawford's a gym rat in that regard there. Now, as far as Spence being out of the ring, off of social media, I know DJ said after either after or before the Jamel Charlo Canelo fight that EJ hadn't been training yet. He said he hadn't been training, anything like that. So, I don't know if it was just having to wait till he healed up or whatever, got the green light by the doctors, whatever. But to Greg's point, he doesn't have to necessarily be in the gym going crazy, and possibly overtraining. I would love to hear about him being in the gym doing something, watching film, just hear from, because some Spence fans were mad at us because we're like, well, they're like, leave him alone. He's never been on social media. I'm like, that's not true.
It's not true.
He's usually on social media because he watches fights, he watches top shows that are out, and he comments on them. So, that's what we were looking at from Spence, but he hasn't done any of that. So, I mean, to y'all point, if he's, went zero radio silent to keep out the bullshit and really be focused, I'm cool with that. I still want to hear from him because, that's I rock with Spence. He's been a man of his word. He's been 100 with stuff he said. He said he was going to do. He did everything. The only thing he didn't do was beat Bud to be undisputed at 147. That's the only thing he didn't do that he said he was going to do. So I respect that. I just want to see I just want to see where he's at right now.
So I'm concerned about the mental fragility. If he's not training and just being 100% focused on the fight, then I'm questioning, is it a mental fragility thing? Is it if I get on social media, if I get on social media and start talking, am I going to start getting roasted? He talked about the fact that he was concerned about his teeth getting knocked out and the embarrassment. Is he embarrassing? How is that going to affect him? my fault, dog. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, basically Greg saying, EJ was worried about the Ugas fight when his mouthpiece got knocked out. He looked down, he paused because he said, man, I'd be embarrassing if that was my teeth. I'd be a meme for everywhere. So he talked about that. So that's
there might be. I mean, some of the psychological factor might just be that the way it went down, the performance, like it has to be kind of damaging to his psyche, being a badass and dominating everyone before that, and then just getting whooped. But I don't know what that would do to a man,
Yeah. I mean, that's a tough loss for him. I mean, I know in a million years, no fighter envisions themselves losing for one and then losing that way in that fashion. He's a man of pride, and everything. So I'm quite sure he took it a certain way. I know he took time to rest up, heal up, get his mind right. I hope that's what he's been doing. I wish EJ nothing but the best because, like I said, I rock with EJ. We rock with EJ. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, we want to see him come back better than he ever was before, and fight Bud and see what happens when they fight. And can I logically pick Spence to beat Bud? No, after the last fight, I cannot. Do I hope he wins? Yeah, that's what I rock with. But with Bud put on film the last fight, I can't say he beats him. I mean, I can't say Spence beats Bud, rather. So.
Well, I guess time will tell. I appreciate it. I'm gonna hop in the shower. I just got done watching the game. Y'all have a good night and Happy New Year.
All right, same to you, fam. Appreciate you.
Bye.
All right, man. Oh man. No, we got one more. I know he about to call back in.
Oh, band up.
He calling. My lender for life.
Jerry.
Tim Cook.
What's going on,
the last
Jerry?
Call of 2023, my friends. Happy Sunday. How are you?
Same, man. How are you?
Man, I just called, and we're going to have back-to-back calls dedicated to my boy Jason. Jason just said I counted 10 times that we rock with Spence.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Self-admittedly, you rock with Spence, don't you?
Yeah. What?
Okay. All right. Well, here's what I would say you guys need to buy into. Victor Conte just gave you a credible excuse for you guys to ride the wave to this rematch for Spence and Crawford. And y'all need to probably invite Victor Conte in. He's not scared of anybody. I guarantee you right now, if you send Victor Conte an X message, he will probably come on your show.
I already did. He's afraid of me.
He eats up any type of any type of publicity, and he wants the heat. He wants to smoke.
He fears me
because the guy is extremely smart. He knows his craft.
I'm smarter,
and you can't corner him. You cannot corner him. So he's not going to be scared of any smoke.
He's afraid of me.
But here's what What's that?
He's afraid of me. I already reached out to him. I'm smarter.
He ain't afraid of you. He ain't afraid of you. There's no way he's afraid of you. Especially this version of Greg. I don't know what's going on into you, buddy. Holy shit. Anyway, back to you, Jason. Listen. Y'all need to ride this wave if it's a medical science explanation. That people can piece together and go, you know what? I can ride with that. Everything else y'all talked about, dehydration, broken rib, he was high. None of that makes any sense. Pure, absolute nonsense. Okay? But, Jason, I will tell you this, because on the heel of you and I going back and forth with Canelo and Tank, you are pretty consistent, buddy. You are pretty consistent. You can call everybody else out. But the guys that you rock with, you never absolutely do. How in the hell is it that Spence lost in July of 29th of July, and here we are about to end the year, and your boy can't give his fans a decency of coming out and saying, hey, guys, sorry about this. I'll be back. I'm going to rock strap season 2024, man down, Crawford, whatever. The guy has no decency for his fans. He's got his fans making up all kinds of excuses for him for 5 months. He cares nothing about you guys. But Jason, I want Spence to win. I rock with Spence. Buddy, he doesn't care anything about you. I mean, I can 100% tell you. I can 100% tell you that if Crawford got his ass kicked, he wouldn't disappear for 5 months and just leave everybody hanging trying to defend him. He wouldn't do it. He would not do it. But those are the type of guys that you ride 100% behind, which leads me into your boy Tank, right? Because Canelo, the protection agency, I heard back the call and I finally heard what the hell you were trying to say in between my words. There's a protection agency on Canelo? Jason?
What'd you say?
Is there a protection agency on Canelo?
For one fighter, he hasn't fought, and that's David Benavidez. And before you go on, Jerry, let me tell you this. I have Canelo over David Benavidez. He just needs to make the fight.
Okay. So there's a protection agency of Canelo because he has not fought Benavidez. Is that right?
Yeah, because of certain the way he moved, I don't like.
Can I ask you a question? Who's Tank fighting next?
No one knows who he's fighting next. We know it's not going to be Devin. And that's the fight I want. Do you not get when I said I don't want to see him fight Tank Pitbull Cruz?
Who do you want him to fight next? Because I've never heard you, not one time. Not one time.
That's because you too much.
Talk about who Tank needs to fight next.
I want to see him. I want him to see him fight Devin next.
Why is it the hell with Devin? Why aren't you calling on him to fight Shakur next?
Jerry, you don't
What's
listen,
wrong with
sir.
that fight? What's wrong with
Shakur and Devin?
What is wrong with Tank versus Shakur right now? What's wrong with that fight?
Nothing.
No, I want to hear Jason explain.
Jerry, you don't listen. That's the problem. I've already asked for that fight. I've already said I don't want to see Tank versus Pitbull Cruz. I don't want to see Tank against anyone but Devin and Shakur. Those are the fights I want. I've already said that 1,000 times. You just don't listen.
No. It's because you don't say it enough. It's not how listen. You don't say it enough. It goes unheard of, brother. But you can go on and on and on about Canelo. That's what I'm saying. The guys that you follow, they just run over you, brother, because they can give you whatever they want, and you're going to go ahead and pay for it.
Oh, my Lord.
Oh, Spence, whoever he fights, the last call actually said he has Spence over Boots. What?
Oh, my God.
Yo, y'all killing me. You talk about fans of man. How about loving the goddamn sport? Your boy Tank ain't fight a black fighter in 10 years. I honestly don't think. Please, Greg, you're the guy that can look up all this data and what your people are telling you. I heard that you said that whatever was wrong with Spence, he can fix it in one training camp.
I'm telling you. No. I'm telling you what. I'm telling you what trainers are telling me.
Your boy should be training right now. What is Spence doing right now, guys?
I'm telling you what.
He's in training camp.
I'm telling you what boxers and trainers have told me, bro. That's all. Now
you are tripping.
How am I? I'm telling you what they're saying, bro. I'm telling you what they're saying, bro. So they're tripping out.
Fix what's wrong with him in one training camp, especially if he's out breeding pit bulls and out, on the farm with the cows, riding horses, and he ain't in the goddamn gym. Come on, guys. Listen, look at who you're following and who you're so faithful. You're talking about guys that don't give a goddamn about their fans. He doesn't. Tank, he doesn't. None of those guys ever talk about, we want to give the fans what they want. You never heard Tank say that. Never, because he don't care. Right now, he made $30 million versus Ryan. So guess what? I ain't taking a penny less than $30 million moving forward. Who are you fighting? Pitbull, Cruz. Who am I? I don't know. I may fight Rayo. How he look? What you think? Anybody Sanchez? Anybody Garcia? Anybody Lopez? Who's next? Guys, come on, man. Let's hit 2024 with a real agenda. Hank should be fighting Shakur. Right? I don't have a problem with that. I would even take, you talk about food. Hank don't even fight Frank Martin, bro.
Jerry, we had a whole video dedicated that Gervonta Davis has to fight one of Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, and we threw, I think, Frank Martin in there. But he has to fight one of those guys in 2024. We have a whole video on that.
That Devin Haney fight ain't going to happen, okay? It's not going to happen.
So
and
then Shakur's there.
This is what fans need to start thinking about. Why the hell do you want one fighter to be dehydrated when all they're going to do is use that as a goddamn excuse, just like Ryan Garcia did, the body shot. I couldn't recover. He's going to use that. Listen, as a fan, the hell with that. The hell with that. These big fights need to happen, and each fighter needs to be at their best. Period. And like I said, Tank is not a small-boned 135. I said the last time that if Tank was really serious, he'd be a fortified 140. I have not seen a guy not transform like Tank has been at one kind of mid-level, hasn't gotten any worse, hasn't gotten any better. The dude, if he was in there pumping iron, doing what he needed to do, hell, sign up with Snack. Everybody's talking about Snack this, Snack that. Why isn't Spence lining up to sign up with Snack? Why isn't Tank lining up to sign up with Snack? You act like Snack's illegal. No, sign up with it.
It works.
It may not. I don't know, but why don't you go check it out, brother? Hey, I'm going to sign up with Snack to fight Devin Haney. I'm going to sign up with Snack to get that rematch, get that rematch back with Crawford. None of these guys are serious, but you know what they are serious about? They're serious about taking your money.
But
I said,
Jerry,
they sit on your back and say it's raining. Right?
Jerry, we just did a video. We just did a video in regards to Errol Spence and the fact that he needs the science in his camp. There doesn't necessarily have to be Snack, but he needs that scientific approach in his training camp. So we've been critical of that, bro. What are we really saying here, Jerry?
I don't know, man. I hear more about naysaying Canelo and downgrading Crawford's abilities and what he's done. But let me just tell you this: for 2023, there was not a bigger fight, a more anticipated fight than Crawford versus Spence. So let me just wrap it up with the fighter of the year. Listen, we have lost.
That's what you gonna agree with me.
What's that?
What's that? Agree with me. Basically, go ahead and say what you're gonna say, but you're gonna agree with everything I say. I guarantee it.
It's, you know what? I was gonna tell Greg. Greg ain't right, man. Greg is not right because Greg has the greatest mic in the world, and I don't know what you've given Jason some sort of hand-me-down, brother, but that mic is terrible. If y'all listen to these callbacks, Jason's mic always sounds muffled, or you need to step back or something. Greg has clear. You can hear him clearly on these, and then Jason's like drowning in water. So it ain't that I'm ignoring you; is that I cannot hear you. Honestly, I don't know. Maybe someone messaging down in the chat may differ.
Hold on, real quick, Jared. Hey guys, in the chat, if you could, give us a thumbs up if Jason's mic is shitty. Thumbs up if Jason's mic is shitty. Go ahead.
Go to hell. You're shitty. Your shitty ass voice.
Here comes the painful truth. No, so honestly, I'll tell you this. This year has been crazy. It has been really crazy. And fighter of the year, depending on the criteria, I can see it going to a few different people. Okay, but if we're just going to have fighter of the year and we're not going to have performance of the year, then fighter of the year needs to be Crawford. Because people forget about it, but that goddamn fight was the biggest, most anticipated fight since, I want to say since Golovkin-Canelo won. Wasn't like people so excited where you were just like, I don't know how this is going to go. And the most anticipated welterweight showdown in decades. So when you look at that, just going into it, that no other fight was as big this year, and then when you consider Crawford's performance, you got to give him fight of the year if it ain't performance of the year. If you're not going to have performance of the year in the category, it has to go to Crawford. Crawford, I mean, we forget because Spence fans want to forget about it. Crawford fans are living, don't want to forget about it either. But what I will say is, after that fight was over, when I remember all the mainstream media that was talking about that fight, Joe Rogan, all of these people, MMA, broadcast, I mean, everybody that was in combat sports was talking about, oh my God, did you see what Crawford did? When you factor in Eminem, when you factor in so many epic moments, when you factor in Crawford was looking at Charlo in the goddamn front row with his wife talking about, you next. When you look at that, the performance that man put on, I don't give a goddamn what if Spence was high, if he had 3 ribs, was he high? I don't give a. That has nothing to do with the performance that Crawford put on. Just him as an individual from start to beginning, from Eminem coming out to him talking to Charlo in the 3rd row. Ooh. And not only that, the way he embraced Spence afterwards. Like a man, like a competitor. When you look at from the beginning to the end, Terence Bud Crawford is the 2023 Fighter of the Year. Have a happy New Year's, my friends.
Happy New Year's, man. Talk to you soon, Jerry. Jerry 100% agree with everything you said already.
But I just don't say it enough.
I don't know, man. I think people think because we don't. Honestly, I think a lot of things have been said multiple times. I just think people they hear what they want to hear sometimes, and just like there was a narrative that suggested that we said that Terence Crawford was going to get destroyed and all this other stuff, and I put together a little, I guess you can call it a little montage or whatever of videos that we did where we said the exact opposite. We were talking about he was a bad mofo, and He the truth and da-da-da-da-da, and it's a 50-50 fight and yada, yada, yada. And it was somebody that was on Twitter that created this false narrative, stuff that didn't even make any damn sense, dog. And, that's just what people do, bruh. 206. I don't know. This band up?
Yeah, it's band up. It's good.
What's going on with you, fam?
One, I got to get this in at least one more time. Let's go, Huskies. We going all the way. You need?
Bando, I was telling Jason I ain't even got nothing else to hold on to now but the Huskies. Let's go, Huskies.
Oh yeah, we just fattening up, man. The worst thing they could have did was give them boys more time to practice, and that's what we have. More time to practice. It's about to be an onslaught. We about to run these cats. It's not even. This is about to be. We're about to put the whooping on them. That's going to be the performance of the year. You know what I mean?
Dog. We'll see.
But you already know who your boy got for the fighter of the year. You already know who I got for the fighter of the year, and it's all things above that everybody else said. But on top of that, what nobody else has said, the man called out the type of whooping he was going to give out to him years prior. You know what I mean? We had only thing that probably rivaled that in attendance, let alone in just attendance, was that Francis and Fury fight, because they had the Undertaker and they had everybody there. You know what I'm saying? But we had, you know what I mean? You had people like Stephen A. Smith. You know what I mean? You had was Paul Pierce. You know what I mean? Coming out to watch the fight. You had everybody coming to that fight. Whether you know what I mean? Before we got to see what would happen in the ring, everybody's tuned into that. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was tuned into Bud and EJ. Now the biggest surprise was that Francis and that Fury. That was the biggest surprise outcome of the fight. The fight of the year, to me, I said this on Manager Marty podcast, I think was Zilla versus Boots Ennis. That boy knocked him through the ropes. That was crazy. I like that fight. That was probably my fight of the year. You know what I mean? Single fight. But best believe, Bud put on a master class, and we ain't going to overlook that. And we ain't going to overlook the fact that all the criticism everybody was talking about him and his stance, he stood in one stance the whole time and gave him the work when everybody, including you guys, were saying that Errol was the better southpaw.
Yeah. I thought we thought Spence was a better fighter, hands down. We thought he was the better fighter of the two. But Band Up, we said it was 50-50 fight. We leaned towards Spence because we thought the pressure that he was going to put on Bud was going to be too much for Bud, and Bud handled business. And I gave him all the credit. I mean, I got him as a fighter of the year, just like you do. Got him as fighter of the year, got him as performance of the year because of the quality of a fighter he fought. Although I still feel that Spence had some other things going on with him, it's still he dominated him. He still completely dominated him to the point where in a rematch, I'm not picking Spence in the rematch. If I thought it was a close fight, then yeah, I would say, okay, Spence got a chance. He just got to retool a couple things here and there. And after the way that fight went, I can't say I got Spence beating Bud in a rematch.
And that's the real. And you know what's crazy? You're not the only one. There's very few platforms or people that was rocking with Spence 100% before the fight. Even not 100%, they still can't give you a question to what is he going to do to beat Bud? I ask this all the time. Yeah, all this what you want to say. In the next fight, what is he going to do skill-wise? And they can't come up with a question. They can't come up with an answer. I don't think nobody's gonna come up with an answer skill-wise what that man can do because how great the whooping was. You dig? That's where everybody's losing to that. No matter what they want to say, how the man how he tried to wait Spence out, knowing that Bud was at the same weight class for years on as well, and he's also trying to move up, as you can see. Which they trying to say the car accident. Well, he fought after that. They try to say the rib injury. We ain't hear nothing about that till after the fact. You know what I mean? And the only thing that really makes sense, and it's fact, and it is proof right there that he went the altitude sickness. You know what I mean? That's the only thing we could give him, but. As far as a skill standpoint, it's more than just You know what I mean? Bud fans being Bud fans. We seen the skill asset when everybody didn't. When channels like you guys, like yourself, said that Errol could do this and do that before the fight, we all, some of us, you know what I mean, knew the skill set was going to be the biggest differential, and that's what we were trying to push. That's what we were trying to let you guys know. It's the skill set and it's the IQ. Nobody I haven't heard fundamentally sound from Spence since then, and I ain't heard nothing about Bud's IQ. But everybody want to forget that he has the IQ on top of Spence as well. He got knockouts and Spence had fights, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
What was the last part again?
He has as many knockouts as Spence has fights.
Yeah, I believe so.
So it's the IQ. Everybody got to put the IQ in there too.
Yeah, I'm not giving him any IQ. Y'all gonna turn me back into the old. I'm tired, man. I'm that band up. I'm tired of hearing about Terence Crawford. Now I done heard his superlatives for the last 5 months. I don't give a damn about his IQ. I don't give a damn about his skill set. I done had enough now. I done had enough.
Oh man, hey, I'm not gonna lie. One of the best things the Crawford fans did was watch you guys live when you guys seen that man getting tore apart. That was crazy. That was oh my God, that was so humbling to watch. It was a Bud fan's dream to watch that. You did?
Yeah, it might have been y'all dream.
How much slack we've been taking.
Yeah, it might have been y'all dream. And you know what? I came right back the next morning and gave y'all more, and then came back that afternoon and gave y'all more, because guess what? We were one of, I think we were actually the only platform that supported Errol Spence. It was on the scene constantly after the fight. We took our licks, and you can't say that about other platforms that were out there, because a lot of them disappeared for weeks.
For sure.
We kept it.
For sure. And some of them made excuses for weeks, and they still making excuses, but they still can't give you an answer. What are they going to do different? What's he going to do different? That's what I want to know. What's that man going to do different?
And that's why I'm not picking him. And that's where I feel like this channel separates itself from other channels, because I stand on logic, bruh. I'm always gonna rely on logic. I'm never gonna rely on my emotions. Not to say that you can't be. We're all biased to some extent based off of what we see and what we feel and stuff like that. But man, I'm the type of dude that I rely on my logic, bruh. And it's not me being a bandwagon fan. It's not me jumping ship from Errol Spence. Dog, I cannot deny what my eyes saw. That was not the same Errol Spence that I saw against Ugas. I don't care what anybody says. Physically, that wasn't the same guy. But 100% Spence would have got caught with the same shit that we saw, whatever he was, 80% Spence, if you want to call him that, would have gotten caught with. He kept leaning to the right. Terence was able to catch him. He couldn't deal with the fact that Terence was jabbing with him and parrying the jab. All those things gave him issues, and because of that, he had struggles with getting his offense set up and getting his offense off. So those are technical things that he's going to have to improve on. Now, I've been told by boxers and trainers that can be improved in one training camp sufficiently to actually win a fight. That's what I've been told. But will that happen? I don't know. All I could do is base it off of what I just recently saw, and what I recently just saw tells me that there's no way I can pick Errol. Doesn't mean I'm still not in Team Spence camp. That's my man. But there's no way I can pick him. Like, I can't be a blind fan. It's not me.
I can be a fan of fighting and still not pick them, just based on my logic and based on who they're fighting. I mean, let's be real. Do that.
Yeah, and another thing,
that's not true, but I can't.
The biggest upset was Wilder, hands down. Wilder, that was the biggest upset. Nobody said that today. I don't think Wilder was. Nobody thought that man was going to lose that fight.
So I was debating between Wilder and T.O.
And T.O.
Yeah. I still go with T.O. because I think T.O. is way more dominant. Something looked wrong with Wilder too.
Hey, and another thing we could say, Keith Thurman has had long layoffs, but for some reason he ain't lost.
Who did he fight when he came back?
I mean, he fought Mario Barrios. You know what I mean? After that little layoff that he had, that was kind of a long layoff. But he was hurt. Yeah, he was hurt in the fight, but he still won.
Yeah, I get it, but nah.
Yeah, I don't think these fighters should be taking long layoffs. I did a little, like I told manager Marty, I did homework, and if you guys want to go back and see it, because I want to actually rap with you guys next week a little bit. Hey, I watched. You don't have to watch all of them, but I watched the last 6 Deontay Wilder fights, bro. I watched all the way up to the King Kong Ortiz, to the King Kong, the second one. I watched all the way up to that one. Deontay Wilder has not entered a fight, even entered into like stepping into an opponent's space. He has not entered in the same way since that second knockdown, the unofficial knockdown that came after that in the second fight. Bro, I promise you, he has, like, even in the Dominic Brazili, even in the Robert Helenius, Deontay Wilder is susceptible to overhand right hands. Robert Helenius didn't even get a chance to really throw one that whole fight before Deontay Wilder knocked him out. You know what I mean? And that was still a going backwards surprise knockout. So I don't know if he's a broken fighter, but he definitely got to fix some things. And the trainer he's rocking with, he needed him at the beginning of his career because you too late to try to fix all these fundamentals. We need you to get up in there and start swinging like it's a street, like you used to do.
Hey, the thing is, though, man, hey, Greg, what did I tell you in that fight Wilder was doing wrong? He kept backing up and exiting to Parker's strong hand. I'm like, he's going to get caught that right hand. He kept exiting that way. He kept doing it. Yep. And Parker just started tagging him with it. Just a matter of time.
And when he, speaking of that, when have we ever seen Deontay Wilder try to utilize the ring?
He needs Antonio Tarver.
When has he ever tried to utilize the ring? What is this stuff Malik Scott got him on?
He needs Tarver. Antonio Tarver solved all that.
Yeah, he looked like Malik Scott just in there, man, teaching him how to throw punches and being like, moving around, Deontay, don't forget to move. That's all I can see. I don't see nothing else, bro. At first, I was rocking with Malik Scott. Nah, this is bad. This is real bad.
He better get the magic man, Antonio Tarver. He'll take him to the top.
And I still think he'll be Joshua. I don't like Joshua.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, Joshua, I give Joshua credit just because of the way he can box. He's a real good boxer, but I don't know, something about AJ that doesn't strike well with me. I want to like him, but just something about him that doesn't strike well with me.
You just mad because he's a Brit. You just mad. You mad because he's a Brit and he feels superior to you. That's all.
That could be the case too, but I don't know. It's like him and Ryan Garcia for me. I don't know what everybody else be seeing. Those two fighters just don't do it for me.
Y'all just mad because Ryan Garcia gets all the ladies.
Man, Ryan can do whatever he wants to, man. I just don't like his foot placement, bro. Like, the way he walks around the ring is just not what's up to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I want to chat with you guys. You know what I mean? Go you know what I mean? Salute AM Podcast. Glad to see you guys back on another one. You know what I mean? Hey, like, comment, and subscribe, and smash the like button if you get a chance.
Appreciate it, band up, man.
All right. Appreciate you as always.
Good.
Peace. All right, guys. Well, that's going to conclude the show. I'm sick, and Jason got some other things going on in his world. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this one. I appreciate you guys for calling, everybody that called in today, and then everybody in the chat that participated in the show. Appreciate you guys. It's a new year. We grew by, Jay, how many? We grew by almost 12,000 subscribers this year.
About 12, yeah.
So we appreciate everybody that contributes to the channel, everybody that follows us and watches us. Watch us. You know, it's been coming. It's almost 2 years now. It's been amazing. The rate at which we've been able to grow and contribute to Brian is great. When the fuck you going to address FS? You already addressed it. I addressed it right at the beginning of the show. It's been amazing how we've been able to grow over the last year, and it's gonna be some big fights that come up. We're gonna be having some hot content coming up in Q1. I can just feel it. We haven't had the opportunity to do the documentaries. To be quite honest with you, I've kind of avoided doing the documentaries because they take so much energy to do, and they just keep getting flagged. And so I hate doing it. But yeah, it's been a great year. We finally monetized this year as well, so that's good. The channel is not bleeding us dry like it was at the beginning of the year. But still, guys, feel free to contribute to the channel. Super chats are always welcome. Becoming members, that's $2.99 a month to just support the channel. That's always welcome. Please consider doing that as well. Ryan Prentice, you can kick rocks and roll tide. Them niggas can run right off a motherfucking cliff. That's how I feel. So anyway, see, man, he poking me on purpose, Jay. He poking me on purpose.
I almost made it through the end of the year. This last podcast, I almost made it through.
Sorry, son, bitch, Ryan Prentice. Anyway, hey, you guys be safe out there, man. Enjoy yourself, enjoy your families. I don't know if we're gonna have any content tomorrow, man. Families and stuff, man. It just be bothering people and stuff like that.
Hey, I agree with you, Greg. Hey, Ryan, go to hell.
Yeah, I ain't worried about that. But yeah, so anyway, guys, appreciate you guys. I don't know if we're going to have content tomorrow. The family, we're going to probably be doing family events and stuff like that. But of course, if something pops up that's hot off the presses, we're going to drop some content on it. I saw people dropping some content today on Calvin Ford. If you guys have noticed, we don't get into people's personal lives, so we don't do videos on that kind of stuff. So if you want to go find out what's going on with Calvin Ford, I guess you can go to another channel and find that kind of stuff. But we do have a video up. Yep, we do have a video up about Gervonta Davis. Go check that out. Till next time, guys. Peace.
Peace. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. I feel like